All right. Hi, guys. Okay, now we will discuss the topic on how to copy a formula into nearby or adjacent cells. Well, several times in Excel, when you see a formula, you also want a similar formula on the nearby slash adjacent cells, either across the row or down a column. Now we're looking at this worksheet that you see on screen, and here's the formula in B4. You can see it in the formula bar up here, right? Or I can also double click in here and you can see it larger. Now we want that same kind of formula here. We certainly don't want the exact formula because we get the same answer, which is 40, as you can see. When you copy your formula in Excel, um, the important concept is you're copying a formula relatively. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to double click this again so we can see it larger. This refers to formula or to content rather in cell, which is cell? In cell B, in column B, both these values in here. Now, if we drag it one column to the right, there you have it. The column references will get adjusted to be column C, right? And then going to the right further, we have D. You can see I double click and the references change. And then we copy to E, F, and G, and on. Okay? And the references also change. Now, when you copy formulas, they get adjusted relatively, as I mentioned earlier, and you'd simply be repeating the exact. Otherwise, you simply be repeating the same exact formula. And of course, we don't want to type a formula then here, then here, one by one manually. What if we're doing this for not just 6 months, but 12 months, maybe 24 months? And that probably would be time consuming, no? And the way we copy a formula is simply by dragging, as I've shown earlier from that lower right hand corner, and it's called the fill handle. So as I drag to the right from the fill handle into June, right away, you can probably see those values are correct. What's this one here? You can see it in the formula bar or double click. What's this one here? See it in the formula bar or double click. Okay, you can see it larger. So one by one, we have the correct formulas. And if we have 12 months, much better. Maybe 24 months, even better. And similarly here in column H, what's this formula here? What is it doing? It's adding up. I double click in here or we see the formula here. It's adding up the values for the first cells next to it or just before it, so to its left, right? So we see the function sum there. Do we want to do that here? Do we want to do that the same formula also here and here? Of course we do. So just as in the examples over here we were copying, you could say we are copying the relationship. So what's this formula doing here? It subtracts the two cells above it. How about this one? It also subtracts the two cells above it. And you copy it to the right, it does the same thing. It subtracts the two cells above it. Same thing on and on, right? So it's the same idea here, but now we're moving down a column. Earlier we were moving across a row, and now we are moving down a column. So I can simply find this icon at the bottom part to get to here and then drag it downwards. Drag the lower right hand. So you see. And if I select here, you can see the formula bar changes. And as I double click also to make it larger, and we have the correct answers here. Um, and similarly here in column I, What does this one do? The function here that it's using is, well, it's basically saying to average. Uh, it averages the total of the values added earlier and by dividing it by 6. Okay, so what we want to do that to two more times down below, we copy the same relationships to here and here as well. So we drag that lower right hand corner of this cell right here and drag it downwards. So many times when you see a formula, you probably desire to copy it, as we've seen here, down a column and across a row, or many rows. So in this technique of copying a formula by dragging the fill handle is absolutely essential, no? When you work with formulas and lists the way we're seeing here. So recap, we started off seeing only three formulas in this worksheet, right? Uh, and we created the other formulas simply by dragging the fill handle. In this list of numbers that we're seeing here on screen, just at a glance, it looks like a bunch of numbers. These are numbers in reality, huh? And all the rest are formulas. So as you work, guys, with Excel, there will be many times when you need to copy formulas like we've seen in the examples in this tutorial.